ああ、指揮官もこのパーツが気になるのかしら。これは黄金時代の乗り物をレースカーにするための部品よ。どうして輸送用途である乗り物でレースをするのかって？昔の人は速さを競うことも娯楽にしていたらしいわ。びっくりでしょ？
Yo, what's going on everybody? Xanthus Vice here, and we are back with some more Punishing Gray Raven. I hope you guys are having a great day today. And yes, I know, it is extremely late where I'm at right now. It's literally like almost 10 o'clock at night. I know, I'll apologize. I just had a lot of errands I had to go do today, so I had to get that out of the way. So anyway, where we last left off, we'd finally started on Bridget's floating record, When Day Breaks. And it's interesting that we're actually learning about Bridget a lot more, but also again this goes more in depth into the connection between Kurano and Norman Mining Corps. But interesting how we are tackling this after the events of Teddy/Luna's chapters, because I mean otherwise we wouldn't have gained access to a lot of this information, especially with the case of Bridget's parents having passed away due to an incident that occurred, even though it shouldn't have gone that way. Because sure, there's always a chance that it's like sometimes people will be endangering themselves to help others, but it definitely seems like it's a lot more of like they're not trying to tell them exactly what happened in the case of it. And it does seem like they are always tasked with eliminating people who try to find out more. If I had to guess, it's probably those who are invested in the research, but it's like they just want to make sure they have people who can maintain whatever that resource is to create even better constructs, but they probably don't want it out just yet, or they don't want others to try to take advantage of the fact that they get exclusive access to this place to then become like the next Dominic, right? Like with his Inver device. So they are always tasked with eliminating people, or at least Kurano is under the name of Norman Mining Corps. And I'm assuming that's what happened to Bridget's parents. They probably found a researcher who was like Hyde, who had a better understanding of this new form of Tantala. They tried to escape with him. That person was going to reveal stuff about it, but they probably didn't know about that anyway. They were just focusing on doing their job of rescuing people from the mines, but unfortunately got caught in the crossfire because that person's existence, whoever the researcher was, just had to be marked off the books. It's sad that it's like Bridget's family was just caught in the crossfires of their nefarious plan, because again, it's like they were trying to like have a leg up on the competition, right? Or probably try to wait until the perfect time when the current form of constructs were obsolete to then make way for this, right? Because we even see them trying to do it before with the Live Imperia frame with the Omega weapons equipped onto it. So it was probably like they were trying to create the perfect immortal vessel, right? Because that was also part of what Kurano was trying to accomplish, reaching that next level of ascension, quote unquote, for humanity. And that's probably why they were trying to like go through all these sources and learning about it. Is there anything new here? Yo, what's up, Blocks? No, I'm just going through floating records right now because I'm already all caught up with main story, and we still got time before the Bianca updates, so I'm just basically passing the time with getting to know some more lore in the PGR world. So yeah, we are gonna go and see if we can finish that floating record today. It's tomorrow? No. It's next week. Because this event ends on the 19th, or the 18th, whichever one it is. And then after that will be Bianca's thing. I'm just trying to clear as many floating records, because since I'm already caught up in main story, and I am very invested in PGR as a series, I just want to get as much information as possible since it will almost be an entire year since I started playing this game. So yeah, we'll see if we can finish this today, and then probably next time we'll go with Soaring Beyond. See what's been going on with Hanying ever since her thing with the Reverie. And also after she was attacked in the Lady Chu chapter, like How did she survive? How did she get this new improved frame and everything? Then go into Wan Chi's and then Crescent Sun, and then I should be all caught up. I don't think I'll be all caught up by the time of the update, but I hope I can at least be all caught up around the start of next month, because then I'll have completed, or mostly completed, all this kind of stuff by a whole year passing. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead with this. And yes, for those of you who watched the VOD from last time, yeah, I am still kind of worried about the fact where it's like, in some cases they're like, oh, you have to press stuff to connect the routes and stuff, but it's like, I can't do that with my mouse for some reason, because it acts as one conjoined thing, even though they should be separate functions when I'm using a controller and my mouse only for like extra things. So hopefully I won't have to run into that today, but if I had to guess, I probably will. So let me go ahead and grab my phone with my PGR account ready for when I need to, because that was just a whole mess last time. I think I had to do that for like 2 or 3 different parts in the last stream, so I'm hoping I won't have to go through as much of that again today, but there ain't no guarantees in this, so we'll just see. Okay, so what also happened last time, if I am recalling correctly, Anji was able to escape from those Kurino subordinates who were trying to monopolize that tantalum research down here. She was able to make a break for it, and then they got eliminated by the traps that were there, and she's still probably trying to find the professor's research down here. And she is keeping it hidden very well. But again, it's like, we don't know what's the next step forward, because we're still trying to find out the mystery of the mines. But it suddenly seems to fit on the table, causing the already unstable video feed to flicker and blur for a moment. Oh, right, yes. We needed help. But currently with Babylonia's resources and the personnel, we wouldn't be able to handle the situation immediately. But Kurino has decided to step in and make a deal with the commandant. But now we're trying to see if what the terms will be and will be accepted. I mean, why the fuck would we? It's Kurino. Dude, you know how many times they tortured me, interrogated me, and practically decided, nah, our profits are more important than the lives of humanity. So it's like, why the fuck would I do that? Never. Hey, calm down. It's just a simple exchange of resources and information. There's no need to get so worked up about it. As support force captain, shouldn't you prioritize your people's safety above all else? Rather than obsessing over research data that came from Kurino or that small amount of tantalum resources, wouldn't a potential safe passage be far more valuable to you all right now? Oh, right, yes, because we're stuck in a cave-in, we can't get out, we need a way to actually escape, because we've been stuck for a couple days. Food and stuff are running low. I don't have the authority over the tantalum, but just as you already pointed out, I don't mind letting it go if it means we can all go home safely. If Kurino can convince Babylonian and Norman Mining Corps to shell it out, then so be it. But we got no reason to share the research data with you. Kurino themselves should know full well how many secrets are buried in there. What you just said concerns me more than the research data does. What exactly is Kurino up to? Oh, my apologies. Being vague during negotiations is indeed a bad habit. Which statement are you referring to? While there might be a secure escape route, there's a high probability that a few individuals may perish due to unexpected incidents during the evacuation. Let's not dwell on it too much and withdraw as soon as possible. Oh, yes, right, because we also learned there is another imminent threat that's eliminating people here, because there were also fresh corpses of researchers, but who would it be? It's not those 2 Kurino guys who were taking Anji away to get the resources. Because even then, it's like, they would have only gotten permission because of the special circumstances now. And again, it's like, because the whole thing with Norman Mining Corps, they just want to, like, monopolize it themselves before the siblings learn the truth about its existence of this new form of tantalum. So it's like, what actually is eliminating them?
What are you getting at? What exactly are you trying to say?
Figuring the projection forced out an awkward laugh, clearly caught off guard by someone with the guts to openly question these deliberately ambiguous statements that are usually left unaddressed. After this exchange, the counselor's tone loses all pretense of friendliness and turns hostile. I have no idea what you're talking about. What do you think these mines are, some kind of pleasure resort? Anything can happen when you're in a place as dangerous and complicated as that. Especially those researchers who spend all their time in labs and rarely exercise. Pretty sure they'd be the first ones to lose their lives in certain accidents due to slow reflexes, no? Ah, so now he's trying to hold all the people we could rescue as hostages as well, because even if we save them, they're still trapped in here with whatever's killing them off. His face contorts with fury at these words.
Why don't you just name Anji or whoever else you want? When we retreat, I can help make sure they all stay behind in the mine. How does that sound?
Oh my, what a cruel thing to say. Bridget, you're the support force captain. How can you even suggest doing something so outrageous? Anji is a valuable talent at Norman Mining Corps, and a precious asset to Babylonia. I'm sure Kurino wouldn't just stand idly by if something were to happen to someone so important, would they? Of course, we have to save everyone we can, but there are times when we're powerless. When certain accidents happen, there's nothing we can do about it, right? Bastard. But her laugh escapes Bridget's lips as she barely contains a cold sneer between clenched teeth. Say, we were hoping you'd be able to share some actual solutions with us, sir. Since we had the Grey River Commandant here with us, perhaps we could arrange for a smaller accident. What do you say? Out of the question. I have never and will never make such compromises. If I take one step back, you'll make me compromise again. I don't care how you slice the cake, but everyone who remains has to stay alive. You two think you can get something for nothing, then we have nothing left to discuss. That being said, Babylonia isn't the only party behind this operation, is it? Shouldn't you consider Norman Mining Corps' opinion before making such decisions? Whatever Grey Raven Commander decides to do, that'll be our decision too. To press a static, another person joins the communication line.
I like what Xanthos said. I don't care how you slice the cake. Those who remain have to stay alive. Norman Mining Corps has always been a family that prioritizes employee welfare over corporate profits. We can overlook minor gains, but the safety of our employees has to be guaranteed.
Counts at the video feed, now let's have a bitter laugh. Victoria! I feel like I can see what exactly is going through your mind even through the screen. Employee welfare over corporate profits. Oh boy. This is not the stance you took during our previous discussion.
Previous discussion? I thought someone was just saying how we should make ourselves clear during negotiations. No.
Ah, yeah. Nice. She used your stupid corporate jargon against you. And yeah, that's the thing. It's like, if it was the old Norman Mining Corps with their grandfather, it definitely would have gone the way they wanted. But now with these guys in charge, now with Victoria, Leonardo, and Teddy, they're on our side.
Norman Mining Corps is a vast enterprise with countless verbal agreements and written contracts. I can't possibly keep track of every single detail. Regarding the mining operation, Norman Mining Corps did indeed have prior contact with Kurino. However, since this concerns an industry we previously collaborated with, preliminary preparations were simply standard procedure.
After a moment's silence, the counselor quickly regains composure and speaks with measured emphasis. So negotiations are off the table then.
Don't forget, you're undeniably involved in the death of Mr. Sky, who was not only Norman Mining Corps' butler, but also family to all of our brothers and sisters.
Ah, yeah. Because now we have Anji's testimony. The Counselor knows full well that the mere utterance of these words leaves no room for further negotiation, no matter how much Victoria values Skype the butler.
Very well. If that's how it is, then this is where the deal comes to an end. I deeply regret this outcome. You see, without Kurino's support, the mine will only become more dangerous, not less. It would be a shame if an accident were to occur and the death toll exceed our expectations. Wouldn't you agree, Commandant?
Boy, you don't know who you're talking to.
Don't even. You see me? You see this coat I wear? I'm a Grey Raven.
Without waiting for a response, the counselor promptly terminates the communication. Then, Bridget slams her fist on the table once again. Wells, who has remained silent this whole time, sees the moment to speak.
You made the right choice, Bridget. There's no need to be frustrated just because you hold yourself to higher moral standards. Let's try to be more practical here, Victoria. Do you have any additional intelligence for Norman Mining Corps?
Yeah, because, again, it's like, even if we did, we'd be making a deal with the devil. There's no way. Kurino's always been known to backstab people in the end.
As much as I hate to admit it, in this particular matter, Norman Mining Corps simply cannot offer better terms than Kurino. The most I can provide is auxiliary support. Norman Mining Corps has already dispatched an integrated team of geological surveyors, engineering experts under our coordination.
Let's proceed with Karenina's original plan then. Can you hold out, Santos? I can take it from here. Contact me immediately if anything changes. Wells nods and disconnects from the call. On the other end, Victoria gives a courteous bow before our hologram fades away. I mean, come on, negotiations were never gonna go through.
Santos, I'm sorry. Was I being a little too reckless?
Why apologize for doing what any friend would do? Smile, you pat Bridget's shoulder and speak softly as she gradually regains her composure. Come on, we got plenty more to do. You brief everyone on the intel while I go and look for Anji.
Got it. But should we tell them everything?
Use your judgment. You're the rescue expert here. You don't need my opinion on this.
Alright then. It's nice because, again, it's like, we never really see her, like, panic like crazy. Like, in battle, it's like, it makes sense, but with this kind of power struggle that continues on and on, it's like, we never seen that kind of, like, feisty side of her. But again, when it comes to the people, it's like, she's just doing what anyone will want to do. Help as many people as you can. If you can attempt to save someone, at least attempt it. Don't just forsake them. Because there's always that one chance that something can be done, that a difference can be made. If you at least just take that step. It's never guaranteed, but it's better than looking back and regretting what never was. Because then it would have already been set in stone by that point. The temporary camp shifts with the arrival of new intelligence. There are no severe repercussions thanks to Bridget and support forces' swift response. You meet up with Bridget again, she's already finished pacifying everyone. The camp is back in operation, with everyone's task reassigned to better coordinate the engineering force operating in the field. The situation has inevitably dealt them something of an emotional blow. Everything remains under control. How's everything looking there? I just finished briefing her. She might need some time to process everything. She sits before you, clutching her arm with one hand. Her face straight to color. Did they really say that? They really want me dead ASAP, don't they? It may not be that obvious, but given what's happened before, you should be well aware of your situation. Well then, I'll hand over everything. Just please spare my life. Yeah, because that's the difference. If she was just someone who's like, they were a decorated soldier or something before, and it's like they're finally back on the front lines after all this time, then it's like, maybe there would be like something of where she'd accept the terms as to whether she would survive or not. But she's a civilian who just ended up coming here. It's like she has to think about what's really important at the end of the day. So, makes sense that it's like,
Now hearing all this about Kurano, it's like, what does she have to lose by giving us this information now? If anything, she could also get in better terms with Babylonia if she can help us find that research data that we need and give it to the right people, like Hassan and Wells and Asimov. She bites her lower lip and troubles as she shrinks back toward her luggage.
This is a Norman access card modified by Kurano. With this, you can find what you're looking for on your own.
Said to get the card, Bridget fixed her gaze on Anji with a debt.
We'll protect you regardless, Anji. Santos and I didn't bring you here so we can scare you soulless. We're not Kurano, and you don't have to be either. We're all survivors now. We should be in this together. Take it easy, alright?
Anji's lips quiver as she struggles to speak. After a long moment, she lowers her head slightly and reaches to her backpack. She reaches up patches. As the patches over to Bridget along with her own hand.
What are you doing? These are prints of my fingerprints and palm patterns. Along with my expertise, I'll cooperate with your operations. If all they needed was an access card of my handprint, they would have just cut off my hand and done everything themselves by now. Thank you for trusting me. I'll do everything in my power to keep you safe, Anji.
Doesn't answer but gives an emphatic nod instead.
Alright then. Commandant, we've got a situation with Cheryl.
What's wrong?
Cheryl's been working on something following that lead ever since you mentioned the power issue. Just now they detected a momentary blipped up vital signs on the radar. Signal's amplitude differs from those of human and construct. Cheryl suspects it might be equipment malfunction as attempting a second scan. But I don't think that's necessary. Commandant, your judgment is correct. There are people in the mine besides Kurano and support force. We should move out now.
Bridget?
Roger that. I'll make the arrangements right away.
Hidden secrets.
While some problems have been taken care of, I can't seem to shake the feeling that there's more down the road. Looks like we won't be leaving these mines anytime soon.
I'm strong.
I never thought I'd see this side of you.
The mine tunnel lies shrouded in darkness. Only the faint glow of their handheld lamps piercing through the gloom. Lucy investigates the mysterious signal that suddenly appeared. Bridget and you are tasked with finding a path to rendezvous with the survey team and the engineering force. The underground complex is a maze of interconnected passages. To bypass security measures using Anji's identification chips or authentication. Now starting to see the true colors of the tower buried deep beneath. Each authentication granted, more hidden passages and laboratories emerge from obscurity.
These people, they really know how to keep their secrets buried deep.
But they've grown used to living like this. It's like they've become bull people.
But then again, I guess they are hoping to be the next Asimov, right? So for them, it's like the living conditions don't really matter as long as they have a place to do the research properly and without the outside world hindering them from any progress.
Green darkness becomes second nature. Grow to shun the sunlight, digging ever deeper into the earth for new sanctuaries. Besides, things they do here could never see the light of day.
Another one of these diaries. More of the same contents.
The mine collapsed again today. We really have the rescue team to thank. Constantine mining may be heartless, but they always make sure to call for rescuers when this happens. At least, this is better than how things are at other places. At least we can scrape by here. A place like this, we can't ask for much more. Only 2 boys got hurt, trying to be heroes by going too far in. Everyone else is fine. Minor 8.
The rescue workers saved me again. I just...
so grateful to both of them. I heard that before all this happened, the couple used to be extreme sports enthusiasts. Off-road racing, rock climbing, stuff like that. Would have still been a code monkey type away at my computer if it weren't for this damn virus outbreak. Who would have thought I'd actually come down here to mine? Alright. Time down here in the mine was unbearable without my diary. Waiting for rescue, but something feels off this time. I heard some strange noises. I played dead, keeping my eyes shut and refusing to look at anything. Only opened my eyes and wrote down all this when the strange noises were gone. Nothing bad is gonna happen to me if I just keep my eyes and ears shut. Right? Alright. Guess the diary's blank. Pretty sure the guy ended up getting rescued?
Yeah, pretty sure that's the case. The 2 rescue workers mentioned in this diary, they've gotta be my parents.
Right, because it said off-road racing was one of their hobbies, right? And Bridget was actually talking about that kind of stuff in, like, when I had her in, like, the main screen. I didn't think that would be a hint or anything like that. But also, I guess the fact that she did actually have a car back then when she was trying to rally people to learn the truth about what happened in the mines.
They once told me that they were extreme sports guides, that they ventured through the desolate wilderness and treacherous peaks before the punishing outbreak. They once promised me that they'd take me to all the beautiful places once the punishing was gone.
You'll see it for yourself. I'm sure of it.
That's right. I'll make sure to travel to all these places they've been to and see what they've seen when all this is over. Care to join me when I'm ready to do that?
Of course. Love to.
Then it's a deal. Mind you though, that isn't gonna be easy. And no, I don't want to hear you complain. Oh, there's something here.
Searchlight sweeps across an ever-darkened control panel. Bridget places her access card against it. After a moment, the long dormant panel slowly flickers to life. It's weird.
I mean, who's been maintaining the power system this entire time?
Yeah, because that's the thing. It's like, it's one thing if they had a power system, but it's like, how would it have been operating still for so long with all these cave-ins and stuff? Though everything appears shattered in a veil of decay, it seems that with the right key, the world behind these stone walls has slowly begun to show itself. The access card verified, the laboratory lights automatically activate. Harsh white light floods down instantly, almost blindingly bright.
Who's there?
Some creaking sound echoes through the room. Over there! Above security camera, where the blinking red light slowly pivots.
Is this a monitoring room?
The monitoring room isn't on the map. That's where it hit me that something is off. Without a moment's hesitation, Bridget raises her gun and takes a precise shot at the security camera. There's another one. Surveillance camera comes crashing to the ground.
Could someone be controlling these from the monitoring room that wasn't on the map?
She crouches down to examine the shattered security camera more closely.
It's a motion sensing camera. It probably only turned towards us when it detected our presence.
Need to exercise caution all the same, though.
Yeah.
This unexpected incident is heightened attention in the air. I have a copy of the research records from your terminal's control panel. The two of you quickly make your exit from the laboratory.
Oh, shit. Is that how they were able to always find the researchers and eliminate them? Because that's the thing, it's like no one's ever actually escaped and revealed the truth to the world about the tantalum. Is this how they've also been doing it? By having those cameras in those people's rooms, that's when they were like, oh, okay, we need to shut them up now. Because they learned too much. I mean, again, it could also technically be for their safety or to steal their research, but I guess knowing Kurino, it probably was also for that reason. Or at least that was one of the bonuses they got. Feels much safer out here. That's true. Though the mine tunnel is darker, its narrow confines somehow feel more secure than the stark exposed laboratory with its harsh white lights. Nice reflexes back there, Xanthos. I'm good. It's no ordinary feat for a human. Good job, Commandant. The task force really is full of talented people. Given what you're capable of, you should have no trouble joining task force. Well, they've been telling me to apply for task force since we finished boot camp. but I've always felt like I don't belong there. Task Force is great, fighting on the front lines with the best frames available and everything, but if everyone joins Task Force, who's going to be there to support them?
Right, because that's the thing. It's like not every hero is just those who are on the front lines. It can be those who work in the logistics in the army, the doctors who save the lives of those who come back from battle with battle scars, and even the people like planning the stuff, because they have to create the best tactics in order to ensure the safety of most of their people and ensuring victory. So it's true, because it's like I could definitely envision Bridget and the Task Force, but yeah, when you think about how humanity has to be saved as a whole, this kind of goes into like that ideology as well. Because again, it goes back to like back then with Kevin and the Flame Juices. Like, how would you define saving civilization or humanity? What should you really be doing, and what sacrifices will you make to reach that goal, or at least that specific one that you're trying to go to? But here it's like they actually are trying to help all the people, is at least what Babylonia is intending to do. At least some of those of us, like the Commandant and Hassan and a lot of the others. So seeing Bridget actually being the task force actually does, or not the task force, but support force actually does put my mind at ease. Because again, you have a lot of great people, a lot of capable people, so that everyone can be prepared for any situation, right? Because you just have people who are good for rescue stuff. What happens when you're facing a threat that's like trying to eliminate you? You can try to say to people all you want, but you need to ensure that you can continue doing so.
I'm not saying Task Force is bad or anything. It's just,
Yeah?
someone has to be there to help them, right? Everyone has their own path to follow. And my path has never been with Task Force.
Are you sure you don't want to join Task Force? The conditions there are better than in Support Force. Your training data qualifies you to Task Force. Are you sure you're not going to sleep on it some more?
Nope. And I'm sure about it. I choose Support Force.
Whoa, what are you even doing here when you're doing so well? I mean, why aren't you in Task Force? They're always the first ones to get new research results and frames.
This place is great too. We get to operate heavy vehicles here. Task Force doesn't have nearly as many vehicles for everyone to drive. The old timer would always tell me that I'd flush my talent down the toilet. I've never been fond of making choices, but never have I regretted joining Support Force.
Yeah, it's true. It's like there will always be restrictions that come with joining different groups or taking promotions and stuff, but there are certain freedoms that you can get in some places that you can't get in other scenarios such positions. See each from their mind sharing to pieces, then slowly reconstruct themselves. If she truly weighed her options back then, the young girl she was should have accepted compensation from Norman Mining Corps and lived out her days in some conservation area. If she had made a calculated choice out of becoming a construct, she should have joined Task Force, earning more merits, risen to an elite squad, and gained more authority. She's faced countless opportunities. She never strayed from the path she set out to take. Yeah, because Bridget's a unique case because it's not like those other scenarios where we see they have a lot of different options, or we've seen what those other options were. Like when it came to the Lee Hyperreal chapter, or Lucia, with all those different futures of possibly being able to save the Commandant or not, or live as to what would happen if she survived the from using the Imperial frame or not. But for Bridget, it's like that choice will always be final. There is no if this happened, could this have happened? She doesn't get that second chance. And yes, there will always be times where there are sometimes regrets. But at the same time, is it still at least something that you believe you would choose? Is it a decision you're satisfied with? Is it one that you know that in your heart is a choice you would make, not deterred by someone else, not deterred by certain emotions, or just because of like some simplistic additional like benefit that would be like at the moment you'd want it, but it's like, would that really satisfy you when looking back on your whole story?
Not to toot my own horn, but I've indeed led support force to assist more task force operations in conservation areas than ever before.
Hey, I mean, she's not wrong. She's helped us a lot of times. Because we've needed reinforcements for a lot of big threats. Because that's also the thing, right? Because task or support force probably works more on the ground than a task force. Because task force is like, they're always going to like corrupted hives or CPFs and stuff like that to eliminate corrupted. But again, it's like the support force, like they're always there to help the people. So they'd be able to move a lot faster to help people on the ground than waiting to send another task force group from the space station to the planet Earth. Because that would still take time. You'd still have to get all your resources ready, and also make sure that the flight path is not obstructed by flying corrupted or bad conditions or an enemy ship targeting you. They could be more on the move to like save you in a second faster. The numbers don't lie. Since Bridget joined support force, numerous squads that would have otherwise died have made it back to Babylonia safely, thanks to her timely assistance and dedication.
I always thought I was giving it my all, but
It's a deep, heavy sigh.
Trojan, I never noticed anything wrong with her. And I've been thinking that maybe I'd been able to help her had I been more attentive.
Not necessarily. Based on Bridget's description of Trojan, she was likely a spy working for Kurino until her mind was damaged, causing her memory loss. With Trojan being who she was, God only knows how she perceived Bridget's kindness when Bridget tried to be kind to her.
You're right. She might think I'm just there to spy on her. She is being very contradicting. She truly did help Rulin and me back then. There's no way Rulin and I would have improved as fast as we did without her guidance. For someone who was supposed to be a spy, it's weird how she's trying to draw all this attention to herself.
Maybe those times are precious to her too.
I wouldn't be so sure about that. I mean, Rulin and I were quite a handful, but it worked out fine in the end.
A familiar smile graces her face.
Trojan's still alive, so am I. Some wrongs can still be righted.
Smile and shrug, Bridget walks forward.
Come on, we got a long road ahead of us.
Family. Honor. Mind. Suppressed painful gasp echoed softly through the sealed room. Heavy footsteps, bestial growls, and chaotic sounds of scraping metal filled the air. Seems like we have new guests. Dim light slowly flickered to life in the dark room. Across the dense array of surveillance screens at the control panel, there appears the face of a brown-haired construct that's calmly shattering the monitors one by one. Well, guess I gotta get myself ready to receive guests then. It's interesting because it kind of gives me like Five Nights at Freddy's vibes, because it's like potentially this could be one of their other experimental neo constructs that they were creating or attempting to create back then, just gone wild. Possibly. It's like in a scary place like this with no way to exit till we get to the heart of the mystery, kind of gives me that kind of feeling. I don't know, I could be completely wrong. I never played a FNAF game before, but If I had to guess, this is probably the closest I'd have to that kind of experience. Because I probably will never play it, just because I'm not a scary capes kind of guy. Homecoming. After thorough exploration, Bridget finally stops in front of a mining tunnel that shows less structural damage than the others. Is this the place? Yep, of course. Gently taps the rocks before with a wrench and tilts her head to listen to the resonating sound. Location we confirmed with Carnina and the others should be somewhere around here. Without proper instruments, I can't pinpoint the exact position. We'll start clearing the collapsed rocks from this position. Engineering force will be there to work with... She even finishes a sentence, the terminal crackles to life as Carnina's voice bursts through the speaker. Can you hear me? Loud and clear. Are you near the coordinates I calculated earlier? Yep, we're here. This section of the mine has suffered minor cave-ins. We'll reinforce it from the inside to prevent further collapse. I know I can trust your work, but there's this one thing. Carnina falls quiet and says nothing for so long. He's starting to wonder if there's a signal issue. What's wrong?
I don't see why this needs to be kept under wraps. To put it simply, whether we're creating rescue access points for supplies, or using large diameter drilling for the rescue, we're gonna end up making a lot of noise either way. The mine's condition is unstable, and Carnina's worried it might attract corrupted. And none of the researchers can fight to save their lives, so...
Ah, right. Because again, we can't guarantee that there aren't corrupted. But, I mean, to be fair, we actually already did deal with some. And we don't know if there's like a giant hive, or a nest, or a red tide or anything, so I can understand.
Someone will likely need to stay around to prevent any constructs in the mines from attacking.
I'll do it. I'll do it. Support force needs you to tell them what to do.
There's no point arguing about this. It's dangerous whether you lead or stay around. No one else is gonna come popping out when we open that collapsed mine shaft. That's why you and Lucia need to take point. If anything goes wrong, I'm sure your combat experience will lead everyone to safety. They can handle the reinforcement work without my supervision. That's why I'm clearly the better choice to guard the rear. Commandant.
Lucia, how's everything like there? Seconds are running from the other end of the mining tunnel following an anonymous signal.
They know the layout of this place so well that I just couldn't catch up. I was just going around in circles when I ran into you guys. See? With that unidentified person, or whatever it is, out there, we gotta make it our priority to keep the researchers safe. It makes more sense for our two strongest fighters to walk point.
Very well.
Done with your discussion? Well then, let me brief you on the rest of the rescue plan.
Some minor disagreement seems to be happening on the other end of the communication line. Carnina mutters something under her breath before Teddy's voice comes through again.
Engineering force will proceed with the original plan, creating rescue access points at predetermined locations to pinpoint your exact position. Before that, the support force personnel on the inside need to reinforce the mining tunnels around the planned locations to prevent any secondary collapses during the operation. According to the reports, there seems to be some operational elevator equipment in the mine. I'll help you gain control of the elevator system from the outside. You can use it to move around. After that, engineering force will use the rescue access points to transport supplies. This is going to allow us to continue reinforcing the tunnels from the inside. Once we have the ground's conditions confirmed, we'll begin rescue operation using the large diameter drilling machine.
Ah, I see. Wow, so we're like making a shell in order to keep a tunnel open and not to risk it coming back down on us even after the drilling. Because again, I guess we don't know what would happen to the recoil from the drill.
Are you guys still listening?
I'm listening.
Yeah, I'm listening. Support force brought reinforcement supplies. They'll prioritize reinforcing the areas where we plan to drill to prevent any further cave-ins. Very good. Alright, let's get the show on the road. And Carnina, don't even think about touching the large diameter drill. I got my eye on you. Lucky, I'd love to try that drill too.
Same.
Right? I bet it has a unique feel to it. I'll definitely give it a try when I get the chance. Alright, let's finish marking the spots and head back.
temporary camp, all tents have been taken down. Our support force are all busy taking inventory of the remaining supplies while Cheryl stands beside Bridget, reporting their findings.
The punishing's concentration remains within manageable levels. Was the corrupted in the tunnels are failed experimental constructs. Norman Mining Corps must install the virus filtration system similar to the CPF inside. Once the mine's power supplies restored to stable levels, we can repair and restart the system. In the conclusion, reactivating this mining facility isn't going to be much of a challenge, boss. I'll compile everything into a report and send it back to Babylonia along with the exploration maps. After that, we can... Bridget. Coming all the way here. You're not planning to assassinate me, are you? The odds aren't in your favor. Not when I'm wearing one of the first new frames that Support Force came up with. And that's not what I meant. You're evacuating, aren't you? No one told me. I can see everyone packing up. Yep. Engineering Forces prepared an evacuation plan. Lucy and Grey Raven Commander will assist you with your withdrawal. We haven't notified Norman researchers because I know Support Force doesn't trust us now.
She probably acknowledges this observation.
Since you're evacuating, I probably won't have the chance to come back here again.
She drinks in the surroundings, trying to commit every detail to memory.
The tantalum copolymer is a promising research topic. I'm convinced that it could yield even better results than TA-193 copolymer in certain conditions. You have my apologies. Anyway, this piece of information is what I've been keeping as my last lifeline.
She pulls out a paper map that shows a detailed layout of the underground mine. This one reveals numerous facilities that don't appear on Norman Mining Corps' maps. Several non-existent laboratories, one with a non-existent monitoring room at the lowest level.
Before I left, my professor handed me this map and wished me a safe journey. He told me that the monitoring room at the lowest level was the heart of the entire mine. He must have seen all of this coming. I was hoping that you'd be able to uncover the research data on copolymers when you're finished with what you came here to do, and continue to fill that void with countless more lives. I'm sorry. I'm in no position to have an argument with you as far as this goes. I used to believe that sacrifice was just a natural part of scientific progress.
She never stopped to think about what happened to those failed test subjects. Having witnessed countless power struggles within the laboratory, she understands that defeated factions face elimination. That's why when she first entered the mine and saw the researchers' bodies, she only felt surprise, not panic. But she fled into the incubation chamber. She witnessed infected constructs throwing themselves at the doors, watched helplessly as lifeless failed specimens were piled up before her eyes.
But I'll say this now. No technological advancement should ever come at the cost of human lives. I guess this is why my professor always said that he just couldn't bring himself to be ruthless. And maybe that's also why they abandoned me this time.
She offers no words of comfort in response.
If I make it back to Babylonia alive, I'll hand in my resignation and leave Norman Mining Corps' research facility. And after that...
What happens after that, she has no idea. Perhaps her professor doesn't want her dead after all, seeing as he did give her this life-saving map. Maybe she could turn over a new leaf and seek a position at the Science Council. If they're still willing to take her in, that is.
Right, because in the end, he could have just sketched out his own map that leads only to that specific room, right? If he just wanted her to, like, dash in, zip out. But it's like, he probably knew what would be in there. So he was like, in case something goes wrong, at least she can survive. Even if it's like, at least to survive with the research, it's like, it would still increase her chance of survival. I hope this map proves useful to you all.
Jean quietly returns to where she belongs. When the map Anji surrendered, Bridget falls into deep thought. She isn't surprised that Anji kept this as a contingency plan. If they weren't about to evacuate the mine, Anji probably wouldn't have handed over the map at all. So surprised that Anji's professor was a Kurano operative infiltrating Norman Mining Corps' research facility. No one knows just how many infiltrators Kurano has trained and planted over the years. It's just such a shame. As Bridget flips through the map pages, a wave of inexplicable sadness washes over her. Bridget?
Oh, Xanthos. Are you all done with the preparations over there?
What are words about? Oh, maybe where her parents last were? Right? because we haven't found them technically. And I guess maybe it's like if she had gone here and if they continued the mission like they were supposed to, that would have been them without not knowing the exits and hidden rooms. We're all set. Right. You guys always travel light. Something seems off about you. Don't worry. It just hit me though. That this is my second time coming to this place. But I still haven't figured out why my parents were missing. Yeah, because that's the thing. It's like, they never found the bodies. That's the thing. And even throughout all this time that we've been walking, there's been no trace of them. The only thing we have is what's written in the diary. So it's like, what happened to them? Found no clues whatsoever. The truth seems pretty clear. Just like Minor A, who saw or heard something they shouldn't have during the rescue operation. Might have even been taken away by Colonel's constructs, killed, or modified. I would hate for that if they were modified. In any case, most likely no longer in this world. You're looking concerned. Bridget blinks hard, forcing herself to put her usual smile. It's okay. I'm pretty sure I'll find them eventually now that Constantine Mine is in operation again. Alright. I better go and make those slowpokes work harder. Pretty sure Karenina's gonna show up with her giant drill if we don't speed up. Is everyone ready to move out? All ready to go. Despite several days of resource shortages, every member of the support force remains in high spirits. Everyone ready? Grab your stuff. Let's go home. I guess because even in the face of danger, their leader's still here, right? And they haven't had to sacrifice anyone to get here, so it's like they're following a real leader who actually cares about them and wants to ensure their safety. And they haven't done anything underhanded to be like, oh, only the most capable should survive, or only me and my close colleagues in Grey Raven should. Risky situation. Ah, man, am I gonna have to... God damn it. Gonna have to go through this shit again, aren't I? Last but not least, let me go over our battle plan one more time. Engineering Force will help us activate any working elevators in the mine. But Lucy and Grey Raven Commandant lead everyone to the designated location. Once you reach your position, start reinforcing the mine tunnels immediately to prevent any cave-ins. And no slacking off. Alright. Heard ya. And what's your job here? I'll take a different route down and guard the rear to make sure no corrupted can get through to you. I'm coming with you. Hey, count me in too. Alright. Just focus on reinforcing those mine tunnels. Don't make it sound like I'm going on some mission here. I'm more than qualified to be in task force, in case you didn't know. Get going now. When I catch up with you all, I'll be inspecting your reinforcement work, so you better do it right. Let's do this.
ルシア指揮官、研究員たちの護衛をお願い。
姉子は私たちが守ります。ヘマなんかしませんから。
皆さん、準備はいいですか？では指揮官、私たちも急いで動きましょう。時間を無駄にはできません。退きなさい。この一撃で。
I was about to say, I'm like, why is she still
エレベ
standing
ーターが
still?
起動できていない。地下 下3階で止まってる。
That boy.
ブリギット隊長、聞こえますか？
Ah, okay. She's gonna help clear out.
エレベーターは地下3階ね。分かった、今すぐ行く。ルシア、下へのゲートを先に解除しないと。
了解です。アンジェ研究員、ロック解除のために該当権限を有する方の協力が必要です。心配いりません。私があなたたちの安全を保証します。
大丈夫、かすり傷。ここは私が食い止める。これは最終警告。前方注意、会議して。
ゲートのロックが解除されました。
了解、お疲れ様。ロックが解除されたわ。行くわよ。
Just gonna check in case I can find anything else. I mean, if not, it's fine, but I just want to see. Nope. Okay. Oh, see, I'm stuck there for a second.
あなたたちは先に下で他の道を探して。レールが引っかかっているのは侵食体のせい。じゃあこいつらを全員ぶっ飛ばせばいいのね。ここは私が食い止める。一歩たりとも越えさせない。前方注意、会議して。
Oh, come on. You've got to be kidding me. Why? Why is that? Why does this always have to be a thing? Oh my god. Seriously, what the fuck? Trying to see if I can do anything about this. Damn, I'm gonna have to... God damn it. Why is this always gonna happen to me? Yo, what's up, Azure Cat? Alright. Unpause the recording. There we go. Sorry about that. Got back. I had to fight a bit more corrupted with Bridget. It was honestly not as easy as I thought it was going to be, unfortunately. But yeah, anyway, let me recap on what happened. So, we did find a paper note where it said rescuer, the sound of a rescuer. Tell it's Zoe. Zoe's here. We're safe. Long M dash has torn the paper. So yeah, I think the writer was the writer is probably either the person. Oh wait, no, my bad. So it might be potentially like her father had gone down to rescue the person, and that person was recording their rescue, and her mother was actually on the way to him. Then she found a body lying in a corner that doesn't look like a researcher. Things are carefully patched up, and it's several rescuers marked that Bridget is very familiar with. And then Trojan actually did end up coming to save us, or at least to back up Bridget with the overwhelming number of corrupted that were about to catch up to her. And yeah, Bridget did end up seeing the belongings of her parents here in the mine. And now, based on Trojan's, or she at least had a small recollection of the past where she had remembered Hyde talking about a back door to the monitoring room. And then basically that's where they're headed to next. Sorry I have to recap it like that, but I honestly don't have any control over this. And it did kind of show like a bit of a shadowy figure that was whatever's lurking in the caves, but I haven't seen anything else besides that. With only a partial map and hazy memories to guide them, Trojan leads Bridget forward, picking their way through the dark, damp mining tunnel.
So there really is a mining center here. Of course, those are guilty consciences fear real demons the most. They need these key card lock traps and mechanisms to protect the little dignity they have left.
George comes to a halt. Once again, she presses her ear against the rock to feel the faint tremors coursing through the stones.
I think I'm hearing something. Engineering force must have started their drilling operations. Now of all time? Hold your...
Her fingers carefully trace along the rock wall.
A collapse? No, that's not it. Watch out.
A weapon whistles through the air behind them. George spins around with lightning speed, taking Bridget aside to dodge the attack. A shadow creeps up from behind them.
What is that?
A massive, grotesque humanoid figure, seemingly cobbled together from mechanical parts, lives behind them.
Who are you?
The creature's overwhelming presence forces her to stumble backward. Without a word, the grotesque being launches another attack.
This must be the third faction you've been suspecting in the mine.
Church and dodges the monster's attack, her frame joints creak loudly with each movement.
I've got this.
Tonfa's transforms into a shield just in time. A strike produces an ear-pounding metallic screech. She holds her ground against the attack.
What kind of monster is this? Ain't nobody got time for questions now.
The giant remains silent as it raises its weapon again. The fake expression shows no hint of consciousness or desire to communicate.
This isn't working.
The countdown to the terminal takes away relentlessly as they flee deeper into the tunnel, under Bridget's cover. However, the massive enemy seems to know the mine's layouts better than they do, being before them at every turn. As Bridget braces for another heavy blow with her shield, signs of fatigue begin to show on her face.
Bridget, this way.
Trying to conceal the mechanical door.
It's here.
Meanwhile, Georgia swipes her access card to open the hidden door.
Quick.
Grabs Bridget and shoves her without hesitation to the hidden passage. Just as Bridget reaches out to pull Trojan in, the giant behind him catches up and grabs Trojan by the shoulders.
Close the door. Now!
But the door slams shut before Bridget with a thunderous crash.
Trojan!
Bridget tries again and again to swipe the access card to open the door, except the door refuses to budge. God only knows what Trojan's done to tamper with the system. If it does, echoed duly through the thick rock walls.
Damn it!
Strikes the door again with all her might, but even her strongest blows barely leave a scratch on the door.
No, this isn't working. Wait, the monitoring room.
The monitoring room controls the entire underground mine system. There's bound to be a way to open this door from there. Or even better, a shorter route to where the fight is taking place.
Hang in there, Trojan.
However, her hesitation, she bolts in the direction Trojan indicated earlier. Another thunderous blast echoes through the tunnel. Grin escapes from her clenched teeth. The construct looms overhead like a dark mountain, its terrifying mass bearing down with crushing pressure.
Totally knew I made the right choice letting Bridget go.
Snatches up her fallen weapon and gracefully leaps into a nearby ledge.
I never do good deeds like this. Babylonia should give me a humanitarian award or something. She saved me here once before, so I guess we're even now.
She talks to herself, not caring whether the creature understands her or not.
Let me be your companion in death here, since we're both creatures that once called this wasteland home.
Despite George's agility, the sheer size difference proves overwhelming. She has no chance against this giant. Once again, her body slams violently against the wall. George has never had her old frame, now creaking protest, replaced. With her arms now immobilized, she can't even use the bandages Bridget gave her to patch up the vital fluid leaking from her wounds.
Holy shit. Wait, this is Sky? What?
Wait, actually, my bad. Who was Skype again? I don't even remember. It shouldn't be the researcher, right? It should be. Oh no, they said the butler, right? Oh, so that's what this thing is. This is the thing I find in PPC sometimes. Oh god. Actually, now that I think about it, yeah, this thing was very tough to beat because I could only use physical teams, and for the most time, I've basically used Alpha's first frame and what's it called? Bianca Stigmata before I ended up getting a Selena's newest frame. So this thing was tough for me to beat back then. Am I gonna have to actually 1v1 this thing with Bridget? Ah, great. I actually don't know if I'll survive this. Sound emanate from the vocal module of the massive humanoid creature.
Wondering why it didn't run away?
Also, looms over once again. This massive shadow completely blocked out what little light remains. But a fluid seems uncontrollably from her mouth. Joins this church and lies powerless in the corner. Visual modules growing increasingly blurry. Oh no, right. Okay, never mind. Yeah. Because Victoria had asked that if we could find the butler, Skyke, because he was also last here. Or if we could find his remains to bring them. Right. Okay. My bad. Sorry. Forgot that detail.
I was going to, actually.
So fragile. Also, his consciousness appears to be growing hazy again. Scanning memory, she recalls seeing what this behemoth looked like long ago. Name was Skyke? That impeccably dressed butler constantly prattling on about Norman Mining Corps? Exactly the type she would despise. She had overheard Hyde and the other lab directors plan to keep that person detained here. After that, everything went blank. She warned that person to escape? Knowing so, she figured that she probably didn't. Georgia never understands why she always gets the shorter end of the stick.
But, for once, I was chosen. In my next life, I hope.
I get to stand in the sunlight like they do. Whistling sound slides through the air right beside Bridget's ear.
The access card. It works!
Fortunately, the access card from Anji has high enough clearance. Despite some difficulty, Bridget manages to unlock the monitoring room. Circuits are shorted out, leaving only the dim glow of emergency lights in the monitoring room. If Georgia Anji said the monitoring station is the heart of the mining facility, there's gotta be some clues here. The monitoring station, some of the surrounding screens have gone dark. Most will flicker with faint light. The moment they entered this place, their every move has likely been under someone's watchful eye. There's no time to think. His fingers fly across the keyboard as she tries to come up with the keywords that control the gates.
Constantine Mining Facility, Laboratory, Mining Corporation Funding, Butler, Skyke?
Long series of text logs appear on the screen accompanied by images. Can't forget. I have to memorize their names while I'm still conscious. Zoe, or Zoe, and Marion.
Are these Mom and Dad's names?
Oh, wait. Were they trying to save him? Is that what happened?
No way. Kurano betrayed us all. They told me there was a disease in the well, that we needed to take preventive medicine. I never suspected a thing. To show off their results, they forced me to watch humans being subjected to tantalum copalmer procedures. I couldn't just stand by and watch those people die. Their experiment failed anyway. Everything went haywire, and they blew up the mine, which they wrote off as minor mining incident. Norman Mining Corps hired rescue workers, but I never thought it would be them. So, Marion. So found me in prison, and Marion insisted that they had to get me out.
Oh, it was. They had actually gone to the root of the problem and tried to save him. Wow, okay. So that's why it also didn't look like there was a lot of residue from the forced experimentation with the fusion with the copolymers. because they had poisoned them and then used them as test subjects. Nice. Yeah, and it was. They had gone too deep trying to save any and everyone, because they had probably, I don't know how, they had probably found a researcher, probably the one with that notebook, and learned that there were other levels, right? And they probably figured that there were other people here who needed to be saved. Or maybe they had even heard about Skype, considering he was the butler for Norman Mining Corps' family. And in that case, they went to go rescue him. But ultimately, they couldn't do it. What happened? Found it! To compose focus, Bridget locates the passcodes for the gates within the documents. If a thunderous crash reverberates through the air. Some circuit triggers, causing every warning light in the monitor room to flash to life. Ominous red glow fills the entire chamber. A moment later, every monitor screen begins to pulse with warning signals. Damn, so that's what really happened to them. And now I see. That's also why they couldn't tell anything about Bridget's family in particular. Because that was very sensitive information. Because even if they talked about rescue, it's like, for what? And again, it's like, we don't know if they were also being forced as test subjects after whatever happened down here. In the midst of the rescue. For the honor. I have sworn to be loyal to the Norman Corps and Norman family for the rest of my life. Drill's deafening roar fills the air as muddy water seeps through the rock layers, rising to ankle level. We're breaking through! Get out of the way, you can hear this in there! A sliver of daylight pierces through the gaps between rougher rock and into the dark mine tunnel. Get out of the way! Engineering Force's chosen breach point is precisely calculated, less than 1 meter away from the reinforced section of the mine tunnel. The reinforced mine tunnel rumbles ominously as Cheryl and the other support force members furrowed our brows. Fix intently in the safe zone above. A resounding blast, the engineering force breaks through the mine tunnel's rocky walls for the outside, finally letting sunlight stream in. Commandant. Missing light sears her vision, as it gently shields her eyes with her hand. We want to be careful with the sunlight since we've been underground all this time. Are you all doing okay in there? Engineering Force members carefully work to widen the tunnel opening for rescue operations. Carnita, already equipped with protective gear, rushes inside. Xanthos, Lucia, you both alright? Hey, slow down. Funny how it feels like we're always crawling through places like this these days. Oh yeah, this would also be shocking for Teddy, right? Carnita and Teddy's help, the trapped squad successfully makes it back to the surface. Does anyone message Bridget? On it, Teddy! She coordinates a rescue effort. Carnita turns her head to call out. Already on it. Except the reception seems a little unstable now. Alright, I'll handle things from here. Go ahead and get some rest. The girl leads away to the temporary camp, hurrying forward, but her brow furrows the moment she lifts the tent flap. The Norman Mining Corps executive? Their immaculately pressed suits, Norman Mining Corps executive and their research division representatives in the middle of the temporary tent, and themselves with such formality as if they were in Babylonia's executive boardroom. Though the timing may be less than ideal, I must ask you all to hear our requests. After all, Norman Mining Corps cannot provide such extensive aid without some form of compensation. Rest assured, though, we won't be making any unreasonable demands. Norman Mining Corps is well aware that Babylonia is leading this operation. However, since Norman Mining Corps will be responsible for the maintenance and repairs once we reclaim the mining facility, I expect Babylonia to preserve as much of the facility's core infrastructure as possible during your clearing operations and combat procedures. Even if the entire facility is swarming with corrupted? I apologize, but such matters fall outside the scope of our concerns. In our current situation, we lack the resources and manpower for equipment reconstruction. Therefore, cut to the chase and say what you really mean. Let me explain the laboratory-related aspects from here on. Norman Mining Corps funded and built the laboratory within the mining facility, and we didn't manage to retrieve all the documents when the incident happened. We dispatched Anji, our laboratory head, as one of the assistant personnel. So, where is she now? One of my objectives for this visit is to retrieve Anji ahead of schedule. No. Babylonia has no right to detain my student. She witnessed certain events at the bottom of the mining facility. She's a key witness. She's just a researcher. What could she possibly testify about? I only mean to take her back to Babylonia early for recovery. Please. Why don't you give a damn about what she's been through? Or did you know this would happen all along? Professor? Have you realized what's happening? The executive takes a step back, offers an awkward smile and apology, and leads the professor away from the tent. Those in the room can hear them arguing outside the room. This isn't what Vittoria told us to do. She specifically asked us to keep the mines safe and keep an eye on them, while making sure there's no widespread destruction. This is a laboratory matter. It's none of your business. Russell, as the professor enters. Let me say this again. Babylonia has no authority to detain my student. Even when she's stolen confidential laboratory data from underground. Stolen? Commandant, I'm afraid your choice of words is problematic. The data rightfully belongs to Norman Mining Corps, specifically to their mining facility. What if the data is part of an illegal research project? Norman Mining Corps is merely an investor. We do not know whether the experimental data violate Babylonia's regulations. Even if it does violate current regulations, the new proposal isn't retroactive. Under the old rules, Norman Mining Corps wasn't in violation of any regulations. Therefore, Norman Mining Corps should have the right to reclaim these materials. A smug smile keeps across the aging researcher's face.
I shouldn't have wasted my time listening to this drivel.
As Karenina storms toward the exit, Teddy catches her arm and pulls her back.
Be clear with us. Who exactly is asking for Anji? Norman Mining Corps or someone else?
Of course, it's Norman Mining Corps. His eyes dart around, refusing to meet your gaze. Teddy shoots you a dismissive glance before her fingers dance across the keyboard to practice position.
There we go. Elvis, slipping through the ranks, huh? His background shows an unprecedented jump from Constantine Mining's internal lab straight to Norman Mining Corps' headquarters in Babylonia.
I'm afraid I don't follow what you mean.
It's gotta be Kurino. I knew they might try to dig their claws in the Norman Mining Corps, but I didn't expect them to make it this far.
But a smirk crossed Teddy's face.
Norman doesn't even have the resources to restart their experiments right away. Even if we reclaim Constantine Mine, the output has to be prioritized for Babylonia's use anyway.
Yeah, because that is the thing, because they have lost a lot of personnel from Norman Mining Corps after a lot of things that happened, so yeah, they wouldn't have any need to try to do this because they wouldn't even be able to, like she said, they wouldn't even be able to carry out those experiments.
I'm working for Norman while serving Kurino. How's that double paycheck working out for you? Seriously? I don't have time to babysit these idiots who can't even get their priorities straight. Hold on. Something's wrong at the mine. I've been trying to contact Bridget, but all my messages are failing to send. Which is weird. I'm connected to the internal communications network you were just using. Support Force has already repaired the transmission equipment in the mines, so there shouldn't be any problems. Wait.
Did someone sabotage the equipment? Or could it be Bridget's terminal?
I can't think of anything else. Is there anyone else down in the mine besides Bridget?
Trojan didn't come with us, but she sent a message saying someone sabotaged the elevator. Sabotaged elevator. Security cameras with their blinking red lights.
It's gotta be them. The one in the mine.
I'm going back down to check.
I'll go with you. What's the situation in the mine right now?
Most members and researchers from Support Force have returned to the surface and are stationed in temporary shelters. No casualties reported. Some from the Support Force stayed behind to cover the retreat. A rescue operation has been arranged for them. Only Bridget and Trojan remain unaccounted for. Try contacting Trojan. We can reach Trojan's communication line, but there's no response. Yep, boy. This connection tone barely carries through the static-filled monitoring room. The contact who calls himself Sky responds as if he heard it. With a hoarse voice, he opens his mouth to speak. You're wasting your time. I blocked all communication signals here to prevent myself from sending out anything. Anything that shouldn't be sent out. That is, in case I lose my mind. The secrets here should remain buried forever. Never underestimate humanity's short-sightedness and greed. the Norman family's honor.
Damn it.
Using the monitoring room's map, Bridget rushes back to where she gets separated from Trojan. But the main door appears to be damaged from the outside. Even with the passcode entered, the door only responds for a weak, brittle click. A forceful attempt to pry up the door ends in failure. What's happening to Trojan now? That thing outside. What in the world is it?
Who are you really? Are you really just a butler from Norman Mining Corps? Why? Why are Mom and Dad's names on the data?
The response comes in the form of an even heavier impact against the door from inside.
Are you really just a butler from Norman Mining Corps? If you really are Skyke, then why? Why are Zoe and Marion's names in these records here?
Oh, shit. It was the worst outcome, wasn't it? He impacts against the door and suddenly sees. Self-proclaimed Sky, suppose the construct outside, seems to have stopped moving. So, Marion, what exactly do you have to do with these two?
Zoe and Marion. They're my parents.
Changing the subject, Bridget continues trying to pry open the gate from inside. Thanks to Sky's forceful ramming earlier, the inner side of the gate seems to have loosened somewhat. Impossible for Bridget to work her way out. She would never leave Trojan out there alone. So, and Marion, they're your parents. Are you Bridget?
How do you know my name?
To start off, Bridget doesn't stop prying at the gate. Just a little more. Then as crash, the gate collapses. Bridget finally broken through, stands before Sky. Who's that? The confusion has clouded his logic circuit. Sky raises his fist all the same, says the gate open. He freezes the moment his eyes meets those of the brown-haired construct. She looks exactly like Marion.
Skyke, Childsy.
It's wonderful. Have you picked a name? Of course. Marion decided to name her Bridget. When she's a bit older, she can go rock climbing and off-roading with us. You sure that's not too dangerous for her, baby? Come on, you never described off-roading as dangerous when you used to join us back in the day. We were young back then. Things are different now. Oh, they were friends. They actually knew each other. And that's why they were with Norman Mining Corps' rescuers. They probably got recommended by Skyke. But we're still damn young. What are you doing here, Skyke? Zoe, Marion, what the two of you? We've been living in Constantine all this time, handling the search and rescue operations around here.
What's going on? Skyke? No time to explain. Quick, this way.
Bridget. It's been so long, hasn't it? The mine shop where day and night blur together. You no longer track the passing numbers to tell how much time has elapsed in this state. Turbulent waves surge through his mind once more as the excruciating pain assaults his consciousness.
Trojan!
While she rushes in, she carefully keeps her distance from Skype while making straight for Trojan to check her injuries. The construct lies slumped against the wall corner in visibly critical condition. Only after using up all her emergency medical supplies does Bridget manage to barely stabilize Trojan's vital sign.
What exactly happened to my parents? Did you see them in the mine?
Her main Trojan's vital signs are now stable. Bridget hoists her onto her back. Rest of her Skype slowly backs away. Go! Get out of here! As he searches to destroy everything inside, Skype takes a step back to show he has no intention of attacking Bridget.
The data from the monitoring room. Those videos he recorded. What's really going on here?
I failed them. Kurino. The data. It must be destroyed. His voice cuts off abruptly, but Bridget just picked up some key word.
Kurino?
Go! Get out of here! Sharp waves begin to churn once more in his chaotic mind. Bridget can't be certain what connection this concept has to her parents, seeing as a really wounded Trojan is, she knows she can't risk putting her in more danger. Taking advantage of Skag's disoriented state, Bridget hoists Trojan onto her back and slips away through the side path. Skag regains his composure, the memories of his dear friend slip away yet again. I've sworn to be loyal to Norman Mining Corps and Norman family for the rest of my life. I cannot let these matters see the light of day. That would tarnish the Norman family's glory. Oh, that's why the researchers died. He's trying to keep their good name. He doesn't want this secret back deal they had with Kurino come to light. Because that's not the Norman family that he swore to serve. And again, he probably figured that all the researchers who came in, they all had ties to Kurino, even if they were hired by Norman Mining Corps. So he decided the best way to secure all that is by eliminating every single threat inside. So the sound escape just so as people's go clouded unfocused. I need to destroy them. After taking a detour and getting out of Skag's sight, Bridget breaks into a sprint with Troja on her back. Bridget's sure that the strange man has to have clues about her parents. They might have known each other, maybe even been friends long ago. Trojan, how you feeling? Stable vital signs? Guess there's no immediate danger. For some reason, that strange man seemed to hold back when attacking Trojan. Bridget knows she wouldn't have stood a chance against him in his old frame she's in now. With the tunnel blocked and the elevator out of service, there's almost no way out. What she can do now is find a secure spot to keep Trojan safe. Alright, should be safe here. After placing Trojan in a previously reinforced section of the tunnel, Bridget dusts off her hands and leaves clear markers outside the tunnel. It's all up to Bridget now. The gibberish coming out of the man's mouth, Bridget caught Kurino and Data. That monitor room might hold other secrets. More evidence that could prove Kurino's illegal experiments down here in this mine. He seems intent on destroying the data, but Bridget knows that she can't let that happen. That data doesn't just hold clues to her parents' whereabouts. It's also telltale evidence of how countless souls vanish into this abyss without leaving a trace. That is the cruel irony, isn't it? It's what caused so much suffering. And yes, it would be great to let the truth out. And again, people could finally see another side of Kurino again. To once again lower how much power they have, but yeah, it would tarnish the Norman family name. Like, who knows what will happen to them? Because again, it's almost like they sanctioned it, knowing that this threat was happening over and over. Hyde's research group alone documented a bunch of innocent test subjects, including Trojan, while the others. Bridget reorganized their gear and weapons and just Trojan's terminal to receive communication signals at maximum range. Alright, this should work. Xanthos will definitely find us. She has to retrieve the data before the suspicious being completely destroys the evidence. She isn't gonna let them vanish without a trace. When we meet again, I hope we can still share a beer-like alcohol-flavored electrolyte together. Turns her ventures back into the darkened mine shaft. Damn. Rhythmic buzzing pierces through Trojan's hazy consciousness. As she instinctively tries to move, pain surges through her body. Force grown, Trojan fights through the pain, her arm inching desperately toward the terminal that Bridget left within arm's reach. With a soft chime, the terminal connects. Trojan? Bridget? Trojan? Help. Help. Save your strength. Trying to pinpoint your location. Help her. Save who? Bridget? On those two faint, mumbled words, the terminal falls completely silent. Hello? instinctively call out to the terminal twice more. There's no response. Let's get going.
I'm ready, Commandant. Hold up. We're coming with you. Teddy, where are you? I'm still trying to log on to their signal source. What? You think this mine's an open field? Like we can pinpoint it in seconds?
You should all stay up here.
And that you go in alone? This is hardly the time for that kind of talk. The mine's collapsed twice, and that's not counting deliberate sabotage. You really think you can navigate it safely without a professional guide?
Good point. Wasn't engineering force supposed to rescue those from support force that stayed behind? I'll go with them.
Their mission scope doesn't go nearly as far. Aren't Bridget and Trojan even deeper down? Engineering force has its protocols. In situations like this, they can only conduct rescue operations at the upper levels. Going any deeper would be reckless. I won't let my people take such unnecessary risks. But I can take that risk myself. I'm already here, and Bridget's in trouble. There's no way I'm just going to stand by and watch. I've located the general area of the communication terminal. We need to hurry up. While I don't have any geological expertise, judging from the fluctuations and interruptions in the signal, the situation down there is getting worse.
Let's get going. At a quick equipment check, they joined the newly prepared engineering force team to descend deeper into the mine together. It'd be cool if I could fight with this team. Blades flash through the air as Lucia slices through the corruptor, revealing a construct lying beneath it. Who?
Over here.
Oh, one of the other people that, what was it? Bridget brought with her, right? Before Carnina could speak, two team members are already jogging over. They kneel down as they have countless times before, begin training the fallen construct with practiced efficiency. Penetrating wound in the abdomen. Vital signs are poor, but we still got hope here.
You handle the wound. Use Kit 3 for first aid. I'll secure the frame. Captain, we're pulling back now. Fall back. Alert the other squad members on your way back. Search only at this depth following the standard time limits. Don't proceed any deeper.
The members nod in acknowledgement and disappear around the corner.
It's just the two of us now. Teddy, where's the signal coming from? Which way should we go? Not sure.
Teddy remains hunched over her keyboard, all the while, without looking up from her keyboard as her fingers fly across the keys.
What? Look, I don't know which way to go. Sure, I hacked into the mine's infrastructure system, but the cave-ins and battle have wreaked too much damage. The data's all scrambled now. I can only pinpoint the general direction. Can't tell you exactly how to get there. It's not like I'm the architect of this place. Besides, even if the actual architect showed up right now, they probably wouldn't know how to get through either. It's down this way, but... What? You plan to smash open a path with that hammer?
I mean, come on, that's Carnita's answer to everything.
Hey, Lucia, do you remember how we got up in the first place? I remember, but it doesn't really matter. Like Teddy said, most of these tunnels are either buried or altered now. The few remaining official paths might be blocked by equipment, and Colonel has only access permissions for the lower levels. And don't forget, we've already hit 2 dead ends just now. What?
Let's head down first. Try to figure out the right path once we've gone deep enough.
Looks like this is our only option for now.
Skag stops in front of her room, growling softly while pawing at the door. What was it again? Oh, right. Monitoring room. That's what it's called. Could this be the place? General Giant Hand suddenly exerts its strength, causing the metal door to groan and warp under tremendous force. Skag enters the room, finding to seem both familiar and foreign to his memories. For a moment, he loses focus as his perception wavers. Memories and reality blur together in his mind. As a monitor-like device catches Skag's eye, his demeanor shifts to one of certainty. As if he's finally found what he's been looking for. This guy clenches his fist and suddenly lashes out at the device with explosive force. That's right. This is it. This is the monitoring room. You're all evidence, and I'm not leaving any traces. Norman is clean. It's just Kurino that's filthy. Yeah, I see. Because, again, can't say that everything that Teddy's grandfather did was the right thing to do, but it's like, there was clearly some good that came from the Norman family. Although, lately we have kind of been seeing the dark side of them, right? Like what happened with Fan's mother. Her being from the Norman family, I think, right? And then this. It actually is really cool kind of seeing that now in perspective, especially since it's like, first we started seeing like some sneak peeks of like stuff that would be happening in Kowloon and the Forsaken, and now it's like we're actually getting even more stuff about like how Norman Mining Corps was actually able to have their success for this long up until that point. You. And you too. This guy growls and wreaks havoc in the room. A figure briefly flashes past the doorway. Bridget glances at the storage room sign at the door, then carefully peeks inside to check on Skype. Huh? Since someone watching him, the massive figure quickly turns around, stirring up against the wind that sends shattered equipment parts flying in all directions. Too afraid to even lift a finger, she takes a hard swallow. Just a rat. Yes. The mines are crawling with rats. They wear human skin and leech off Norman like parasites. After a brief pause and hearing no further sounds, Kike slowly turns back around. His cotton pupils filled with disgust as he mutters to himself and crushes the objects in his hands. This dirty and disgusting piece of... Witnessing this from outside the door, Bridget takes careful, measured steps, edging away from the room as quietly as possible. Once at a safe distance, Bridget suddenly breaks into a sprint toward the monitoring room. Good thing he's lost it. I need to hurry before he comes to his senses. Despite a considerable distance between them, the echo of her footsteps inevitably carries back to where she had been. The faint echo of footsteps pierces through Skyke's clouded mind, granting him a moment of clarity. His towering figure suddenly goes still. Strange, she turns his head, scanning every corner of the room. No. Wrong place. The giant narrows its eyes, leaning out to the room to peer into the darkness at the end of the corridor. Could it be over there? Oh, so he never actually found the monitoring room, has he? Or at least what's supposed to be like the real place where it keeps the secrets, right? Last stand. Should not let the truth be buried in darkness. Oh, for God's sake, don't you dare make me have to go through more security stuff. It charges back into the room and drops into the chair with a clang. There's no time booting up the monitoring system. External drive. There we go. Hurry. Faster. Gotta finish before he comes back. As the boot animation finishes, Bridget plugs her portable storage device into the port. System drive, surveillance footage, select all. Cut. As the progress bar appears, Bridget's tension begins to ease. Casually brushing her lips with one hand now, she even has the luxury of time to click through the files to examine them one by one. Experiment project, test subjects, number of subjects. What is all this? As frames of footage flash before her eyes, Bridget maintains a composed expression. Her nervous swallowing and increasingly rapid finger tapping betray her growing anxiety. Then her typing comes to an abrupt halt as Bridget sees a familiar figure on the screen. Dad? Mom? Leans forward, lips trembling slightly as she speeds up her operations and pulls up all files related to the footage in rapid succession. Zoe, Marion, rescue workers, time of mine entry, personal data, disposal instructions. Wait, disposal instructions? Her ring finger trembles for a moment before firmly pressing continue. A harsh red seal flashes across the screen, searing into her vision. Vital signs absent. Results verified. Signatory. Just Bridget tries to make out the last few words, a window suddenly pops up on the screen.
Access to classified information detected. Process terminated. Provide administrator key and perform physical identification to restart process. What's this? Wait, what?
Some noise strikes Bridget's already taut nerves. Found you, Bridget. This guy now appears to be struggling to maintain his consciousness. You shouldn't be here. Good boy. Here we go. Please don't tell me I have to do what I think I have to. Oh my god, I actually have to fight him. I think. Ah, damn, I'm gonna have to restart again. I want to do it first try, so do whatever it takes. So crazy, isn't it? That the person that was actually a family friend is also using the kind of power driver tonfa that she's using. But damn, seriously, how the fuck did it come to this? That they'd have to fight each other like this.
防げるかな。
ここは私が食い止める。一歩たりとも越えさせない。前方注意、会議して。一歩たりとも越えさせない。大丈夫、かすり傷。一歩たりとも越えさせない。一歩たりとも越えさせない。その程度の。大丈夫、かすり傷。ここは私が食い止める。前方中。ここは私。これは最終警告。前方注意、会議して。ここは私が食い止める。その程度の。ここは私がこれは最終警告。大丈夫、かすり傷よ。ここは私が食い止める。大丈夫、かすり傷。一歩たりとも越えさせない。一歩たりとも越えさせない。前方注意。その程度の。一歩たりとも越えさせない。
Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me! What do you mean?
前方注意、会議して。
What do you mean you can pull out a pillar? Bro, I already had to deal with this shit with Calpus. You know, okay, back there, don't you dare make me go do this shit again. Oh boy.
一歩たりとも越えさせない。大丈夫、かすり傷。前方注意、会議して。一歩たりとも。これは最終警告。前方注意、会議して。
かに証明した。欲しいものをくれてやろう。決して振り返るな。それにもう一つ、決して哀れむな。使命の重荷を背負えるのは聖者のみの栄誉ある権利だ。我々にとって最後の時間、その全身を見届けるとしよう。
危険対象相当完了。勝利の感覚は最高ね。
Giant's body crashes to the ground with a thunderous impact. It's an ring of dust billowing into the air. Bridget staggers forward and attempts to raise her weapon. Fails after exhausting herself completely. Sky glares on the ground, the madness in his eyes fades away. Behind a glimmer of clarity. I failed. What a disgrace to my duty. No. Perhaps I had already failed in my duty long before that. When I failed to see through Kurino's schemes while serving as Norman's butler. I just wanted to wipe away the dust covering the family crest. Bridget swallows hard and makes her way to Sky's side, using her weapon for support as she gradually regains her strength.
Sweeping things under the carpet doesn't make the world clean. Hiding things doesn't help with anything. Things only get better when you put in the effort to make them better. Trying to sweep things under the carpet is pointless. Perhaps your actions,
Drawing out her words, Bridget makes another attempt at raising her weapon.
are in line with your professional ethics. But before you were a butler, you were human, a victim of what happened here. But before you were a butler, you were a victim. Going from victim to perpetrator is not the answer. You truly regret failing in your duty? Then please, stop letting your conscience slide further down the slope.
Sky shakes his hand ever so slightly and casts a glance at Bridget with the faintest hint of chuckle. Then his gaze drifts on to nothingness. So alike.
Wait, what?
Go ahead, Bridget. You're right. Perhaps I've just been piling one mistake on top of another. I could blame it on my chaotic mind after the modifications. But I know better. If it weren't for that sick obsession, I wouldn't have become what I am today. Take them with you.
It's that one final long sigh, then falls silent. Damn it, what was this Clash of Wills thing? I probably had to take the pillar head on, right? Fuck. And of course, nothing else ever simple. Please don't make me have to solve another, passcode. Please. There were no crackles with static. Bridge. Ed. Answer me, you copy. Karenina? Fuck. Teddy. Signal's getting stronger. Establish contact with Bridget.
Static fluctuates in intensity before the device finally settles on a stable communication frequency.
I got Norman's map right here. Tell me your location. I'm at the bottom level, in an area below the lowest mining tunnel shown on the map. Shit, totally knew you caused that commotion just now. It's about to collapse where you are. I'll give you the coordinates. Run toward this direction. We'll create a path for you. Wait, where's Trojan?
I'm just leaving Trojan at.
Trojan's with us. Xanthos spotted your signal. Come on, hurry up already.
That just goes to show the truth is a powerful thing, you know? It's what became his. It became both their obsessions. Just in a different way. Oh boy. Escape time. Probably gonna have to escape on my own too, aren't I? Yep. Shit, how the fuck am I supposed to do this? I don't know parkour.
ここも崩壊しそうね。早く上へ逃げないと。
Oh boy.
道が塞がれている。別の道に行かなくちゃ。この距離なら行けそうね。 楽勝楽勝。時間がないわ。このケーブルで上に登ろう。
Ah, great. Don't tell me I'm gonna have to like mash certain buttons or something. Never mind. Good.
手口が近いわ。どりゃ。もう全然開かないじゃない。早く早く早く早く。 よし、開いた。ロックが。早く早く早く早く。よし、開いた。 大丈夫、かすり傷よ。防火ゲートがセキュリティシステムでロックされている。まずは制御室で権限を解除する必要があるわ。 大丈夫、かすり傷よ。セキュリティシステムが落石で壊されている。まずは電源に接続しないと。接続方法はあのや
God
り方で
damn
い
it,
けるは
not
ず。
this shit again. I swear to God, how many more times is this going to keep happening? Alright, I'm gonna see what happens if I have to pull the lever. Without having to do that. If I do that, god damn it, I'm gonna have to go through the whole final part on my phone. Which would suck. Oh boy. Oh, my bad. Use my mouse. Seriously, of course they had to hit me with a pain in the ass thing towards the end. Like, really? Y'all could have just made this shit easy for me. Like, running, sure. Opening the doors, yeah. But having to solve the lock as well? Fuck. Alright, try this again.
ここも崩壊しそうね。早く上へ逃げないと。
れている。別の道に行かなくちゃ。この距離なら行けそうね。はあ楽勝楽勝。時間がないわ。このケーブルで上に登ろう。手口が近いわ。そりゃもう全然開かないじゃない。早く早く早く早く。よし開いた。早く早く早く早く。よし開いた。防火ゲートがセキュリティシステムでロックされている。まずは制御室で権限を解除する必要があるわ。セキュリティシステムが落石で壊されている。まずは電源に接続しないと。接続方法はあのやり方でいけるはず。
Oh my god, I actually had to do it this way, don't I? What the fuck? Dude, what? Yeah, I actually don't have a way to do it. I'm trying to see if there's another way to go about it, but I honestly don't have it. Okay, yeah. Give me a second. Fuck me. Alright, give me a couple minutes. Seriously, why the fuck did they have to do it for this point in the game? Like, really? Alright, let me see if I can at least put it in the starting part so at least there's music in the background, but we'll see. I'll be back. Yo, let's go! Okay, good. So just having it just like on the main screen's fine, because then I still complete it on my phone. Sweet! Alright, now we just have one last thing to do. The final twist. What happened next? I just met up with Karenina and others, then returned to Earth. Ah. He's got his eyes and murmurs fill the air as the story comes to an end. Oh, she's just telling the team. Alright. And no, there wasn't anything else after the escape. It was just her, like, going up the emergency stairs. So, we didn't really miss anything. Because after typing that in, all I had to do was get through one, or just finish escaping. Like, literally, it was just like another mad dash or two, and that was it. What else do you expect to happen? Some spectacular mind escape? Some mysterious force suddenly appearing out of nowhere? Did any of that really happen, though? Stop daydreaming and get back to work, all of you. This is a mission brief, not a Golden Age movie. There are no twists and turns. Getting a playful bonk at the head and hearing the story, support force members return to their posts. Perfect content. These new rookies are getting harder to handle with each batch. Despite her words, a smile plays at the corners of Bridget's lips. It was quite a story. Santos, What brings you here? Just running an errand for someone. Is this a letter from Trojan? You can call it that, but it's really just a folded note. Hey, Sunshine. I thought I was the one who saved you. I guess you saved me again. Skip the formalities. Just grab a drink together whenever we're free. No carries 2 short lines on it. It's like what you expect from Trojan. Thanks. I'll take that, but why are you the one delivering it? I ran into her when I was trying to submit my mission report. Trojan was checking in at the military department when you were there to hand in your mission report. She's the only construct modified with tantalum copolymers, so there's no way Babyloni would ever let her back to Norman Mining Corp. Yeah, because it's like, she is the last living proof of that, right? Apparently on her way to a new mission, not having much time to spare, Trojan asked you to pass along this note. Why did you see Bridget in a bit at a meeting? How's she doing? Pretty good. Trojan's data was transferred from the Star of Life to the Science Council when the unique condition of her frame was discovered. After a thorough examination, Asimov concludes that Trojan's successful modification using tantalum copolymers can only be described as a miraculous coincidence. Yeah, because it's like, she was the only real successful project, right? Even whatever happened to Skype is like, that's just what it was. And to be fair, I do kind of like how the battle concluded, right? Because, don't get me wrong, it's like her just winning by like, not Skype taking the final hit, but it's like, it's more than just like he knew her parents or that they only rescued him in that one moment thinking like, oh, he's still human, we had to save him. But the fact that they were like family friends and everything is like, that I can actually accept. Because there probably are some cases where they would think more about someone else than just themselves. And again, it was more just like about hiding the secret. So it's like, would he really do the same thing if Zoe and Marion were in his shoes? I think that's what you kind of have to like speculate on that. It's like, that's why I can accept that kind of ending to their fight. But see, I at least did actually beat it in one go. Did take me my second try though, but still. Whatever made the mission a success remains unclear. But one thing is certain, the memory she lost may never be recovered. Indeed, completely losing those memories might not be such a bad thing for Trojan. As long as she doesn't mind it herself. Yeah, because the only thing she'd really be losing is like her time down the mines and being a Currento agent. It's about time. You're going to that meeting too, right? Yep. Well then, shall we? Same. But you have a few minutes to spare after the meeting? He's staring at you with a smile. Oh, right. We probably do have to discuss this with the council, don't we? I guess it makes sense because this is a very delicate situation. It does affect both Currento and Norman Mining Corp, two very big parts of the United Government. Science Council called for this meeting following a preliminary analysis of the data Bridget had retrieved from the underground facility. Oh, yes, right, yeah, because also the illegal experimentation on humans from that NDA. Based on our findings, Science Council Section 1 has concluded that the research on tantalum copolymers was merely in its conceptual stages. But the tantalum copolymer can be classified as a new branch of research. I personally do not find it promising. This might become a new beginning in time, but not just yet. Again, because that's the thing, it's like, that also does kind of like go back to the point where, is humanity ready to reach for the stars, or even further beyond the stars? That's kind of what it was. Trying to deal with technology that was too great even for them, or a new source of energy that they shouldn't have possession of just yet, possibly. So it's like, that would be like another like sign of that. The Science Council has incorporated this project into the Tantalum Theory Laboratory of Section 1, where further research will be conducted. So, did the Science Council also retrieve all the laboratory data from that time? If, as stated in the mission report, the lab used the data from live subject experimentation, then would this not indicate that the Science Council has violated the regulations prohibiting unauthorized experimentation?
I regret to inform you, sir, that we did not utilize any of the laboratory data. All recovered illegal data has been completely destroyed.
Oh, good. Good. Because I was going to say, it's like, I don't know if I'd feel comfortable with that, because this goes back to something I said a while back, where in the end, we kind of are using the projects that they used for ourselves, and it's like, it's just that they decided to go past that moral boundary where we didn't, right? And I did always get worried in the back of my mind, like, is that really how we should be progressing? Because progress is progress, but at the same time, it would just feel wrong, because again, it's like, you're saying those sacrifices were necessary, that it's like, regardless, that would have had to have been our answer. And I'm glad that it's like, no, that's not always the answer, because again, at least when it came to Live Imperia, no one else had been harmed by that point. Elite Hyperreal is the same thing. But this one's like, it had already affected so many people in the process. I don't know if I could stomach us just using that research automatically, especially with Trojan being the one miracle child out of all of that, like, depressing mess. So I'm glad we're not going to use that data. Because again, it may be for progress for the future, but at the same time, that doesn't mean we have to turn into animals just to survive. Why? According to the data that Support Force have retrieved, all experimental models recovered from the Constantine Mine's underground laboratory were fundamentally flawed. The theoretical data was built entirely on incorrect premises. To put it another way, their approach was flawed from the very beginning. Trojan and the underground giant construct were successfully modified because their compatibility with tantalum-193 copolymer was naturally at a low threshold value. Even then, both subjects invariably developed adverse effects. Yeah, because that's the thing, it's like, even though Trojan did survive it, it's not like she was the perfect human either, because we don't even know. It's like, maybe her losing those memories, was it actually Kurino, or was that also a side effect here? Because, to be fair, Skyke was losing his humanity, and his memories were also jumbled up. So it was like, that could have been a side effect of becoming a tantalum-193 copolymer. You may not turn into a corrupted, but you'd lose the sense of self that you originally were. I wouldn't discount that as actually being one of the issues with it. And that's just saying one of the issues. And yeah, if it goes back to the whole compatibility thing, that's no different from what we already deal with. We're trying to get regular people to become constructs the normal way. Really?
Therefore, all experimental data retrieved from the mine's underground facilities can only serve as evidence of criminal activity. The Science Council will compile all of it and submit it to Babylonia for processing.
Yeah, because that's the thing. That's like saying, as long as you have that data and give it to Babylonia, we'll give you a pass, or you'll be remembered in history, you know? It's like, you can't let that shit slide. No way. Not when we're supposed to be fighting for humanity, not sacrificing each other like animals.
If this to you counts as using illegal experimental data, well, you're free to see it that way if you so wish. That was really impressive.
That's true. When it comes to this subject, Asimov never needs it. Count on good old Asimov. He may be a researcher, but he's a researcher with a heart. Before entering the mine, no one knew about the illegal experiments in the laboratory. The way they're not making a fuss about after retrieving experimental results. It shows how desperate they've become.
Glad to see the data being used as evidence against Kurino. Thank God I didn't risk my life bringing it back for nothing. Besides, the core objective of this mission is to restart the Constantine Tantalum mine. The project regarding tantalum copolymers was first proposed during the Golden Age.
Ah, yes. Because I was going to say, it's like, it seems to have warped since then. Because even Skyke seemed to think, like, this whole thing was actually a good thing until Kurino got involved. So it's like, maybe the Nomad Mining Corps actually did have some good in their heart. Like I was saying, like, maybe it was actually, like, Teddy's parents who were actually, like, the good parts of it until they had passed, and then the grandfather had to take over again, or something like that. Because again, it's like his dedication to the Norman name and their honor. That's not something that can just be faked or made up. Like, he even fought against Bridget for that very honor. There's no way it could have been fake. So it's like, there had to have been good things about it, just that we hadn't actually seen up front.
Any other questions? Sheepishly, the counselor drops the subject. With the Constantine mine being reactivated, I'm sure they'll be able to find Mom and Dad's remains one day. I suppose this is the best ending to this story. They closes the final page of the mission briefing in her hands. Yeah, because in the end, she at least got her truth. Because the night wind blows outside as heavy curtains shield the room for the gold. The dim light, Victoria sits upright in Norman Mining Corps' conference room. There's the joint statement in her hand. Oh, right, yeah, because now she would have learned the truth about Skyke. Ma'am, a comprehensive report of everything that occurred in the mines has been sent to your terminal. Overall, everything appears to be in order. Excellent. Wave her hand, she dismisses the researcher for the conference room. Well then, pleasure doing business with you. Likewise. He reports that coverage only clicks over that of the figure sitting in the shadows. But you haven't achieved what you initially promised. And I was never aware that you had already extended your reach into Norman Mining Corporation's laboratories. You recovered the Constantine mine, and you obtained part of the experimental data. Our laboratories were investigated, and you now have new criminal charges. Fair and square, wouldn't you say? Yes, ma'am. Deep chuckle emanates from the figure sitting in the shadows. What became of that test subject? The construct by the name Skyke. Your household butler, if I'm not mistaken. He's just a dog loyal to a bygone era. As a final courtesy, we buried his remains in the Norman family cemetery on Earth. Well then, I should look forward to working with you again. Likewise. He reports that Gump once more toward the figure sitting in the shadows. Damn, I want to know who this is. No, we're just gonna end it like that? I want to know who it is. What the fuck, man? So someone else connected to the Norman Mining Corps. New criminal charges. What? No, that couldn't be your grandfather. He should already be arrested or dead, right? But then again, I don't remember what happened at the end of that. Or I guess another researcher that they knew at the time who also had close ties to their family. But alright! Finally face that boss and see where I saw where it came from. It does kind of suck that we didn't get to see directly what happened to Bridget's parents. Like the complete closure that I was expecting. Ending did seem a bit rushed, but again, we already had most of the details up front with us, so there really isn't too much to explain. And again, like I said, you probably could insinuate from all the hints and stuff like that that they probably were turned, or probably were used for experiments after, and not like assassinated during that time. Or maybe they were, because again, Skyke was still being modified or something. Because I don't know if he was in that same state when they had found him and tried to rescue him, or if he was or if he was still like his normal self, but like in the middle of like trying to be compatible with the tantalum 193 copolymers. So that is still kind of up in the air for now. But again, all I can speculate is like that is what happened to them, unfortunately. But again, I feel like they probably would have tried to create a scene where like Bridget would have to face her parents as like corrupted constructs or something like that. But again, that'd probably be just too simple, and they probably can't just do that all the damn time. Like we've had that kind of shit happen with Chico, with Nigel and other people, so I guess maybe they just didn't want to follow that formula probably. And it's fine, honestly. Because again, it's like, don't want everything to be the same, you want everything to hold in a different manner. Oh, and by the way, I did see that preview for the next chapter in the story, and I'm like, why the fuck is Vonnegut back? And seemingly possibly with a new plan, and I think it was like Chico still alive or something. It's like, no way, I thought we eliminated her. But then again, I guess this is kind of a different timeline now, so maybe the events that happened there had kind of been altered because of what we changed. But then again, I think by that point, that event with Bianca Stigmata would have already occurred, so the ending possibly could have been the same. But then again, that's not always the case, right? Like, at least from the present on, it would definitely change, but that doesn't mean like it still wasn't like you made slight altercations in your decisions back then to get to that point again. So I'd be interested to see where that's gonna kind of follow along with this. But alright, now that we have finally cleared when day breaks, we'll next be moving on to Soaring Beyond, back with Han Ying. It hasn't even been that long since we did the Floating Reverie chapter, and I am really interested because, like I said, we know what happened. We knew she was there back in Kowloon with the whole issue with that AI program that was being discarded.
taking revenge against Villiers, in a manner of speaking, to then assassinating Han Ying in the process. But again, it's like, was she really dead? Did Pulau just send her back to the Church of Machina to get her fixed up, especially since like both Pulau and Church of Machina will have a lot to gain by securing Han Ying and putting her in a new frame? I'd be interested to see how we're gonna go along with that. And then I'll have to do my a stream for the interlude, so then I can move on to this one for the long goodbye, and hopefully to Crescent Sun as well. But like I said, it's gonna be tough to kind of do all that within like the rest of this month, considering we have the next update coming soon in a little over a week. But we will try to manage, okay? Like I said, we probably won't be able to get through the stuff with Bombinetta's / Vanessa's thing and what is it called? The Pulau one at the beginning. But it's like, honestly, I'm fine with that. It doesn't really hold as much like significance compared to like a lot of these other ones, considering it's like Bridget just released like a couple months ago. The Han Ying, I mean, come on, I want to know more. Wan Shi, one of the best characters. And seeing Yada actually like this and actually trying to see what that boss fight was supposed to like represent. And then I'll be all caught up with the floating record. Well, I've almost been a whole year since I started this series. Damn. It really doesn't feel like that, considering how much like lore and knowledge and characters I've gone through over the year. But overall, this was also a pretty good one. I'd probably tie it with Han Ying's, just because like they're still a little bit up in the air for this, like with her parents and everything, a bit of a close ending, and the mysterious figure with Victoria. So it's like a bit of like, oh, kind of wish there was extra stuff, because with this thing with the floating referee and that like fictional world or whatever, that was kind of iffy for me. I don't know if like there's someone who can actually better explain that, because I was still kind of confused by the end of it, how that's even possible. Like they entered like a virtual space, a simulation like that without even noticing, and then still like walking back as if like now it was the real world, but it shows like holograms or whatever. But it's like, then how would you have gone in a loop? But I'd still say Sands of Wrath was better, because again, getting to actually see Noctis without Cerberus, and then him with Cerberus, and the connection to Nigel, and what's it called? The thing with the Forsaken as well, try to capitalize on that. So Bridges was still pretty good overall. As like just its lone thing, I'd give it like probably a B. But I did actually like seeing like Bridget like this, because again, she's been assisting us, but we never actually get to see her from like a first person perspective of what it's like to be in the support force and what it's like as Bridget in charge of an operation, you know? So I really can't take to appreciate that as, again, it's like we're covering all of our aspects, like all the other groups that help out the Commandant and Babylonia, and go actually taking a closer look at other groups that could potentially oppose Babylonian humanity and are kind of like neutral and iffy, like Kuronode, Northern Mining Corps, the Ascendants, Actilec, the ARU, and all that. I love when we get crossing like those paths into like a hopeful future for humanity, but it's like these guys will still be obstacles in their own way, because even those groups aren't like completely 100% aligned with the one mindset. So I thought it did also do a great job in capitalizing more of the Northern Mining Corps stuff, because we did get a splash of it here in Sansa Rap, but with Fan's mother and why she decided not to go to Babylonia when she had the opportunity. But here, actually seeing a bit more with Skyke and them and Bridget's parents and the whole thing of what Constantine Mines was supposed to represent, I thought it still held the water pretty well. But yeah, like I said, next time when we come back to this, continue with Sword and Beyond, I'll see if I'll do a stream tomorrow, but I don't know what I would actually do it for. I could possibly do it for East 9 Monster Nox, but I don't know if I've done enough grinding where I feel comfortable progressing. Or I could just do another one of this and just go immediately to Sword and Beyond. Just because, like I said, I would like to try to get most of this stuff done before the start of next month. But again, I don't have to rush it if I don't want to. It just depends on how I feel. But anyway, let me give a shout out to, let's see, Blunt Foods fan. And as we have Cat for both showing up to the stream, great to hear from you guys. And if you guys did enjoy the stream but are not already following the channel, please make sure to leave a follow. Much appreciated. Check out my YouTube channel where I post a lot of VODs, subscribe to it as well. Join Discord, you guys not already. Link to all those are on the channel. And again, I hope I don't have to deal with too much of like this infiltration stuff with like putting choosing the right connecting route and stuff for this, like I did in Daybreak, because that was annoying to deal with. So I hope I don't really have to deal with that a lot in these next ones. I mean, maybe I will, I'm not exactly sure, but all I can do is hope that there isn't, so then everything can just be smoothly and you guys can actually see it without me always just having to be like, hey, let me give you a quick run back of like what I literally just did 5 minutes ago, you know? But again, all I can do is hope. But anyway, this has been Xanthus Vice. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. I'll see you guys next time. We're out.
指揮官、今日は私とドライブに行かない？大丈夫、噂話は気にしないで。私の運転は乗り心地抜群なんだから。